Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay. Once again, you're welcome. And I sincerely feel bad for the technical issues, but it's fine. We'll just get right to it. The PRO Student Summit is to introduce undergraduates to the PRO profession. Um, it also creates like a sense of understanding about the vast opportunities in public relations. And the objective of the summit is to introduce students aspiring to pursue a career in public relations. Another objective is to inspire more youths to pursue a career in public relations. Remember again, there are vast opportunities in public relations, and the sooner undergraduates know, the better it is. They can start building experience, start working on their portfolio, start building their own personal brand. And before they graduate, they already have expertise. So they're on a different level compared to other students that are just graduating and trying to start a career in public relations. So we're also here to guide students that really wants to pursue a career, grow in public relations. We provide resources, we provide support. So if you are in need of anything, maybe you're working on your projects and you need guidance, or you just need to ask any question about public relations, how to get started and all of that, this PR Summit showcases and creates a platform for you to network and for you to get all the support that you need. Believe me, you're in the right place today, and we're really grateful. We also want to thank the PRO team. We also want to thank the institution and the head of department for making this possible. We appreciate your support along the way. Like you've been very supportive, and I will tell you that you are in the best institution, an institution that wants you to grow now and for you to have a better future. I would say that deserves a round of applause. So a round of applause for Covenant University. All right, thank you. We just get started with today's business. I will be calling on my colleague. I will pass the mic to Ayomide Oyetunde to tell us more about Nigerian Women in Public Relations, what we are about, what we do, and lots more. So, Ayomide, you have the mic.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Once again, it's nice to have you here with us to share student summit. So basically, Nigerian Women in Public Relations was established in 2019, and we are a social impact professional organization that is set up to advocate for and also provide growth resources to Nigerian women working in public relations and communications in Nigeria and in the diaspora as well. Our major objective really is one, to be a resource hub for learning and professional growth for each of Nigerians basically working in public relations and communication. So, we can get PR resources from the Nigerian Women um, and public relations. We are also set up to support the development of Nigerian women practicing public relations and communication as the profession evolves, from time to time. Another objective is to is to to tackle the results of Nigerian women in public relations and communication. That is to spotlight what Nigerian women are doing in public relations and communication. And lastly,
Sorry, Ayomide, I can't hear you anymore. Your voice is very low.
is it better now?
No, but we can go on.
Let me just.
Better.
It's talking.
Yes, it's better.
Okay, so I was saying that we have several initiatives, right, at Nigerian Women in PR. And some of the initiatives include the Experiencing PR Conference, where we launched the Experiencing PR magazine and the Experiencing PR book. We have the Reverse Mentorship Workshop. We have, the PR Woman of the Month, a C-suite acceleration workshop. We have Student Ambassadorship Program and the PR Student Summit, which we are currently hosting. And it's important to note to everyone that because we are Nigerian public relations, doesn't necessarily mean that all are. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Please confirm. Okay, yes, all right. So I was saying that because we are Nigerian women in public relations, doesn't necessarily mean that all our initiatives are for women alone, right? We have initiatives targeted at men and students. Currently, what we're doing, right? We have both male and female in the hall. So because the name titles Nigerian Women in PR doesn't necessarily mean that everything we do is for women alone. Once again, it's nice to have everyone at the PR Student Summit, and I'm sure that you would have an amazing time learning from our guest speaker today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayomide. That was really, really in depth. So, like she stated, Nigerian Women in Public Relations is not only for women. So we also invested in youths, both male and female, to push the PR profession to everyone. So everyone has an understanding and an idea of what public relation is. So we move on to the next on our agenda for today, and we have Dr. Kehinde Oyesumo. She will be addressing us today. She's an associate professor of communication and media studies and a PR educator, researcher, and consultant. I will say that, Ma, we are so privileged to have you with us. Thank you so much. You can go on and address the students.
This is a photo, different thing. This is the same thing.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Ma.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the introduction. Good morning, the organizers. That's the Nigerian Women in Public Relations. And we also want to appreciate our distinguished facilitators for today's program. And to all our faculty members over there, thank you so much for facilitating this also. And to all our esteemed students, kings and queens in Hebron, it's good to have all of you together in one place, for this special program. And I must say that I'm honored to be speaking with all of you today, at this Covenant University PR Summit. And just like I said, this program was put together by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Now, one thing I want you to know as mass comm students here at Covenant University is that you're already taking the first step towards an exciting and rewarding career. No doubt, all of you in that particular room today, you've all been exposed to what public relations is, especially at the foundational level of your course. In 100 level, you did principles of public relations. In 100 level Omega semester, you did writing for public relations. So that's an exciting career, and that first step that you've taken in learning will actually go a long way to help you. So I must say at this junction that I'm so proud of all of you, your willingness to learn, and of course, and at the same time, your decision to pursue a career in mass comm, because if you are not here, definitely we won't be here talking to you. And specifically, of course, we are talking about public relations here, and public relations generally demonstrates, it makes you to demonstrate a form of creativity, your passion and dedication. And just like you've been taught, is about building strong relationship and reputation. So the opportunity of public relations are very vast and at the same time very diverse, from crisis management to brand development. The current 300 and 400 level students, you know what I'm saying. So public relations plays a critical role in shaping, public perception and at the same time driving business success. So at Covenant University, we are committed to blending theory with practice, making sure that our students are industry ready even before graduation. Now, let me quickly just say a very short story. 5 years ago, a parent shared with me a remarkable story. Two of our graduates had participated in a recruitment exercise for a marketing communication position. The candidates were not actually informed that they will be required to make a kind of pitch presentation during the interview. Now, despite the surprise, this Covenant University student that they graduated from the Department of Mass Comm impressed the interviewers with their exceptional pitching skills. And that's why we introduce training, pitch presentation to our students. And in fact, the parents mentioned that even the company staff that have been working over 5 years ago don't match the quality of the pitches delivered by these candidates. So the interviewer, they were actually impressed. And the woman said something that she made a note to ensure that all our children attend our institution. One of our children graduated just this last section. This anecdote that I just said, it actually highlights the innovative approach we've taken in our mass comm program, especially in the different streams we have. So we focus on equipping our students with practical skills, just like I said earlier on, blending theory with practice. So that's very important to us. And we actually want you to know that it's very important for you. This PR Summit is just an incredible, another opportunity for you to network with professionals. We have professionals here today that will be talking to you. Please learn from their experiences, gain invaluable insights into the world of public relations. I want to encourage you to ask questions, be free, seek advice, and make connections that will actually benefit you throughout your career. Many of you are there, you are in 400 level, some of you are in 300 level. And my final message for you now is that don't wait until you graduate to start building your career. That is why we are inculcating training as part of your program. So as you embark on your PR journey, remember that success is not solely defined by your academic achievement, what you learn from training and the other practical aspects of the course that we are teaching you. So relax, and I trust that today's program, today's event will actually be an eventful one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really powerful. And Ma, you're very correct, because you don't wait till you graduate before you start building your career. In fact, the time to start was yesterday, and the next best time to start is now. And we are very excited because we have experienced professionals that can relate to students, that's built their career successfully. They are creating impact in their organizations, that can tell you what you can do differently to get to that mark. And for that student that pitched really well, communication and pitching presentation, these are very important skills in public relations if you want to stand out. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will be introducing our first speaker. Our first speaker is Esther Asuquo. She is a public relations strategist with a proven track record of crafting and executing impactful campaigns across diverse sectors, including luxury brands, the music industry, and corporate leadership. She has successfully introduced brands to new audiences, built strong client personas, and secured high-profile opportunities to enhance brand experience. She has worked with various PR agencies, and she currently works as a brand manager at Robert Tyler media. This is a full public relations company. So she has worked on a lot of brands and projects. Some of them include the Chivas Rega. She has also worked with the Windflowers. She has worked with a lot of prominent brands to increase brand visibility and brand reputation. Join me to welcome Esther Asuquo. Thank you so much, Esther. You have the floor. We can give a round of applause. We can give a round of applause for our first speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stella. Hello, everyone. Hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, such a privilege to share my experience with upcoming PR professionals, and I'm so grateful to be here. But I would love this to be an interactive session. Feel free to come up with any questions you would like to ask me, and while I share my journey, let me just quickly share my screen. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so today I'll be speaking on my PR experience and what I wish I knew as an undergraduate. Okay, like Ms. Stella said, my name is Esther Asuquo, and I'm a PR strategist. I've been in the field for over 2 years and counting, and I've had the privilege to work on different brands and even personal branding as well in lifestyle field, hospitality, corporate, and even in the music industry as well. So I didn't just it wasn't an easy journey for me. It wasn't an easy journey for me at all. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to share my experience and everything that went down the line and how I've been able to achieve what I've achieved. And please just stay with me while I, share my experience with you guys. So a minute. Sorry, just give me a minute. Okay. Great. To really confirm, can you still see my screen? Please, can you still see my screen?
I can see your screen, my background story. Student, can you see the screen?
Yes, we are seeing it.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So, like I said, my journey into PR, it wasn't an easy one. It wasn't smooth. And when I graduated from secondary school, there was a particular uni my parents wanted me to attend, but I wasn't quite interested in that university, and I had plans. I had a university I wanted to attend, and though my admission plan didn't work out as I wanted it to, and I was home for 2 years. I was home for 2 years, and but my regret was that right from time I knew what I wanted to study. I knew what I wanted to do. I've been so skilled in writing right from my secondary school days. I've had passion for media and even content creation as well. I love to do a lot of content. I'm always with my phone, you know, on YouTube, going around looking, checking other videographers and how they edit videos and all. So right from time, I've always knew what I wanted. I've always knew what I wanted to study. But my regret was that I didn't I just sat at home and I didn't do anything about it. The times my admission plan didn't work. So, you know, one day I was like, you know, I can't sit here, keep waiting and hoping for this admission from this particular school. Let me just do something. And then I took a part-time degree in Nigerian Institute of Journalism, and it's a very great school, a very great experience I had in this school, because they delve really deeper in the public relations field as well. So as a part-time student, I was not eligible to for internship. It was just the full-time student. So I went to the HOD, and I tried to pitch myself, you know, I would love to intern. I don't know if it's possible to grant me an internship letter. I know I'm a part-time student and all, but you know, I want to work in a PR firm. They were like, okay, while the school help full-time students to get internship opportunities in other places, as a part-time student, I won't be given that privilege. So I have to work on it myself. I said, great. I got the internship letter and I got to work. I opened my system and I sent a lot of applications. I sent a lot of internship applications for over 50. You know, I wish I could show you my mailbox, and I just kept on sending applications. You know, I just wanted one. Though I had 3 top agency, because before I started sending, I did my research on PR agencies in Lagos. I even did like outside Lagos in case there are like remote opportunities for me to work, just for me to hone my skills and, you know, get that experience. Then luckily for me, I got into one of my top three PR agencies, which was Bookie HQ Media at that time. And Bookie HQ Media is an entertainment PR firm, and they do corporate, but not really in the corporate field. They were more focused in the entertainment PR firm. So I had the opportunity to work with my top colleagues at then on A-list artists. I was just coming into the PR field, so I was tuned. I was like, oh, I'm working on this person's profile. I'm talking like A-list artists like Burna, Kiss Daniel, Wande Cole. At that time, I was working on their profile, working on their press releases, you know, and to me, I was just like, oh, this is fun. But you know, working in the PR space, it's much more than that. But because I was just starting my internship, I was just excited to, you know, be going to all these concerts. When we put all the concerts together, I'd be going to all of these things. But it's like I said, it was much more than that. But at that time, I wasn't working. I wasn't like the major account holder. I was just assisting. So I didn't really, you know, get into the under scratch, the behind the scene of these things. And then one day I told my senior colleague that, you know what, I want to know how you guys do this thing from the scratch. I don't want to just, oh, Esther, write this press release for me. Esther did this analysis for me on this press. You know, I want to, you know, tell me how you start all over the PR plans and all. And then she sat me down and she showed me how to do a PR plan and all of this. So when I opened the PR plan, I was amazed. I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of brainstorming, you know, brainstorming session, strategy meetings to go all over all of this. So when you see when you go for concerts, you go for artist concerts, you don't know a lot of work has been done before that time. We don't just wake up one day and the artist is out there performing. There's a lot of background things being done behind the scenes and all. So I had the opportunity to work with Bookie HQ for 3 months, and then I left after 3 months. I took a lot of things with me. I'm not even going to lie to you, because it was a great experience. Then afterwards, I worked with a colleague for it was a startup PR firm. So I worked with him remotely for over a year. Now, I met this colleague at Bookie HQ. At that time, he was in his final year in at Unilag. He was in his final year at Unilag, and when I was amazed by all the things he had achieved at that time, at that very young age. He told me how he started at his 100 level, when he was in his 100 level, and he said he even started before he even got into school. And then I was like, oh, I wish I also did this. The skills were there, but I just sat down. I wasn't doing anything about it. I wasn't building my portfolio. And even at that time, I was making content, but I didn't know I was supposed to build a portfolio. I didn't know I was supposed to do anything, because there was a time I wanted to work for someone, and she was like, oh, share me your portfolio. And I was starstruck, and there was no portfolio. So these are all the things I regretted. I was like, oh, I wish I had built my portfolio before now. And while I'm pitching myself, I have to, like this saying, show workings. I mean, they will have seen my workings and all of that, but I didn't do that, and which are some of the things I regretted. But moving on, I'm just gonna switch to the next slide. A minute. Okay. Got it. Sorry, just a minute.
1 minute, starting now.
Okay. Yeah, so can you see my next can you see my next screen? Hello, anyone?
I can see your screen. Students, please, let's make this engaging. Can you see our screen?
Yes, we are seeing it. We are seeing it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. So like I said, after my internship, I landed a remote role with a startup firm, and it was a game changer for me, because I had the opportunity to work on different clients. At Bookie HQ, it was just strictly entertainment. I didn't work on any other lifestyle, hospitality or corporate. It was just strictly entertainment and all. So working with this style firm, I worked on corporate brands. I worked on hospitality brands as well. Chivas Regal, Creed Wings Flowers. So Creed Wings Flowers is a perfume brand, and I was the account holder on that brand. I was what we mainly did was the events, to gather an event. I worked with a lot of influencers on this, influencers, bartenders, because it was a lot of work, and I was so pleased to be given the opportunity to work with this brand, even while still in school. Now, I wasn't done with school while I was doing all of these things. I did all of this experience while I was still in school. So I didn't wait till I was done with school to get other certifications. I went on Udemy to take courses on PR, brand management, to get different certifications on it, brand, like I said, brand management, PR and all. So these courses gave me, like a different perspective, because it is one thing to be in school to learn from your lecturers, but learning never stops, learning never ends. So when you're done with school, I mean, what next? How do you keep on learning? So these are the ways to keep learning when you're done, and even while you're still in school, take courses online. You can take courses on Udemy, Coursera, Allison, all of these platforms are there already to help us, get more information on what you are passionate and skilled about. So while in this PR space, I had someone like, she has always been my role model right from when I was in school. That's Dr. Buki George Taylor. She's the CEO of Robert Taylor Media. I've been following her for a long while, and I was impressed at all the things she has achieved. Back then, the company is over 17 years now, but back then it was called Bobby Taylor. She was strictly in entertainment, she was strictly doing music, but now she's doing diverse things, corporate, lifestyle, hospitality, and all of this. So I sent her a DM on LinkedIn. And another thing, very important, even while you're still in school, you can open a LinkedIn account. For some of us that don't have a LinkedIn account, you can do that now. It's not too late. And for some of us that already have, kudos to you guys. You're doing a great thing, because LinkedIn is a place where you meet other professionals in your field. You get to engage with a lot of people. You get to be inspired by people's work. Each time, every day I go on LinkedIn and I'm seeing a lot of things people are doing, and I'm impressed. I'm inspired to even do better. So when I opened my LinkedIn, I was like, oh, what's happening here? At first I was like, can I stay on this app? Am I good enough for this? I mean, have really not done anything, and I'm seeing a lot of people doing things my age and all, but I wasn't discouraged. Instead, it gave me inspiration to to be even better at what I do, to improve my skills, and get to connect with other people. So I connected with Dr. Buki George Taylor on LinkedIn, and I sent her a DM. I was like, oh, hello, ma'am. You've been such an inspiration to me. I would love to work with you if there are vacancies, and I don't mind working with your firm. I really want to learn from you, and she responded to me. I was so shocked, because I always have this mindset of people at the top, before they get to their DMs, you can take like weeks or even months. But she responded less than 24 hours. She responded, and I was really impressed. I was really excited about that. And when she responded, she was like, oh, hi, Esther. I'm sorry, there are no vacancies now, but when there is one, I will let you know. And when I saw the message, I was kind of, I was discouraged. I was like, okay, at least before then. So I didn't just sit waiting for Dr. Buki to reach out to me and tell me, oh, Esther, there's vacancy now. I didn't just sit and wait for her. What did I do? I continued learning. I continued, developing myself, developing my skills, and offering. Now, another thing is freelancing. If you've not secured a job, what you want, you can freelance, so that when that opportunity for that job comes, you have something to say to your interviewer. You have something to use to pitch yourself and all. So I started doing freelancing for fashion brands, and even corporate as well. I entered into people's DMs and like, oh, if you need help with this, if you need hands with this, I'm here to offer my service. I didn't mind that I wasn't paid to do these things, and I was opportune to work with this fashion brand. So after some months, after like some months, she reached out. Okabuki reached out to me. I was like, oh, there's vacancy. You can come into the office. So I went to Robertello Media for the first time, and it was more like an interaction, because at that time, like I wrote here, I knew my onions at that time. I believed in what I could bring to the table. I believed in what I could do. And while she was asking a question, I was answering her, because I was bold enough to, share my experiences and all of this, because I wasn't just idle waiting for her to reach out to me and all. And she was really impressed, and she was like, okay, you know what, you can start so date. So I started Robertello Media as an junior account manager. I had a senior account manager, then my team lead, and there were some interns I was working with. It was a different ball game for me. It was a different, Robertello worked in a different way entirely. It's a fast-paced environment, a really, really fast-paced environment. Once you're working on something, there are timelines. You have to submit your proposals, your PR decks at so days. So there are timelines, and I've not experienced such where, it's fast-paced, everything is working like really on the go. And I didn't let the fear grip me. Instead, I calmed down to, learn from my team lead at that time. And it was such an inspiring journey for me. Then my team lead left, and also I think my senior account manager, as at that time, they were relocating. So I immersed myself into the work immediately, because I just felt, I was a junior account manager, and the rest there were interns. Who is next? Definitely me. So I stepped up, and I began to do all the work. I began to, get all hands on deck, and so that the department won't lack anything. So we have different departments in Robertello Media. So I'm in the corporate department, there's lifestyle department, there's the entertainment department as well. But I entered into the corporate department. So everything just kept moving smoothly. So it wasn't even noticeable that we didn't have a team lead to, direct us and all. Once my boss asked for something, it's already been done, because I ensured that, make sure that everything was in place. And she noticed, and she called me to the office one day. I was like, oh, I love your hard work. I like the consistency and all. And I was so happy. In less than a year, I was promoted to a senior account manager. Now, some people might say, oh, you're already a junior account manager. You have been promoted to a senior account manager. If I wasn't doing the work, if I didn't know what I was doing, I'm not sure I would have earned that position. It's very easy for the company to have had a senior account manager at that time, but because I immersed myself into the work, that was why I was able to, secure this position. So like I wrote here, it wasn't luck, it was determinations, late nights, going the extra mile. Even when my team lead left, I was still sending messages to her to, how can I get this done? How can I, do this and all? And one thing is, in the PR space is networking. You need to know how to network. Even if a colleague leaves, you need to still be in contact with this colleague. If you know that, oh, this colleague is really good at what she does, is really good at what he does, you need to always still be in contact, because networking is very, very important in the PR space that we are in. It's very much important. Now, expectation versus reality in PR. So, you know, once people say, oh, PR, glamorous client meetings, you go for meetings and everything is looking all dolly and all, but in reality, those the long hours of planning, long hours of you know, brainstorming session, strategy meetings, the events don't just happen like that. There's a lot of work being done. The immediate result from campaigns, patience, everything requires patience, strategy outcomes. You know, you have to, when we're working on plans, you have to measure long-term impact and not just short-term as well. You know, involves handling crises, managing challenging clients and all. Your clients that you're working with, you can just develop a crisis one day, a brand or a company you're working with. Now, let me give you an example. I don't know how many of you know SCOAN, the synagogue church, Pastor TB Joshua, the popular church. Hello. I want to be sure we are following. Can anyone hear me? I said, how many of you know SCOAN, synagogue church? Yeah. So, if you remember, there was this video with BBC. The video with BBC and all, it was circulating around that time. That was early this year. Yeah, it was early this year. So I was the account holder for that client, and the crisis happened holiday. We were on holiday at that time, and that night I was even supposed to go for. Oh, I already planned to go for my birthday dinner that night when I came across the video, and you know, even my colleagues that knew I was the account holder, they're like, oh, Esther, have you seen this? Have you seen this video? Have you seen? And I was like, I'm on holiday. I'm supposed to go for my birthday dinner. So that's one thing with planning crisis management. I didn't sit down to do nothing. I started reaching out to contacts, I started reaching out to blogs, you know, to now what we mainly do is to when there is crisis, we change the narrative of this story. So I don't think after, like, it wasn't even up to 2 months. It wasn't up to 2 months. I think it wasn't even up to a month. Everything died down, if you can all agree with me. So the videos didn't just die down like that. I'm not going to go into much details on that, but I just want to share that experience of crisis management. So I didn't sit down doing nothing. I had to do something step in to change the narrative entirely, to, you know, remove the videos and all, and change the narrative of the church and to the public as well. And now, how to overcome challenges in public relation fields. One thing that is very, very important is be proactive. Always be proactive, be at your feet. Don't be relaxed. Well, for me, I have dreams. I know what I want. So for someone that knows what he or she wants, you need to have your plan, you know, written out. You need to know what you need to do to, you know, climb the ladder, get out of your comfort zone, seek opportunities, learn, grow, network. There are a lot of PR events. it doesn't even have to be only PR events. There are a lot of creative events that you can attend. You're not just attending to because you want to attend, or because you want to take nice pictures, or because you want to take pictures with top professionals. No, you're attending because you want to network. You want to have this content, because believe me, you're going to need it. You're going to need it. You network, you learn, you grow, you ask questions. When you don't understand some things, you ask questions. Ask questions from people, from top industry leaders, from people you know that they are more experienced. They're more experienced than you. You ask questions. You strive to improve your skills. You know, ask these people that, oh, how did you do this to get to this level? How did you get to this level? I want to know. You're not asking because you know you want to be yeah, it's okay. I think it's okay to try and be, you know, greater than someone or better than someone at this thing. But at the same time, you're not asking because you want to strive to be better than the person. You're asking because you want to also learn. You want to be your own person as well. And when before I got into Rebetelo Media, I applied to other firms. I applied to a lot of firms and I got rejections. But I didn't I didn't take it as a setback. I didn't take it as they rejected me because I'm not good enough. No, I didn't do that. Yeah, there are times where I felt really down, but I used that as a motivation. And anytime I have an interview and I'm not picked, I go back to the hiring manager and I ask questions. Oh, can you tell me why you think I'm not fit for this role, or why I wasn't picked? I hear their responses and I go back to work. I go back to work on it as well. And one thing that is very important in PR, especially if you want to work internationally, is media relationships. So when I say network, it's because of this media relationship. You have to build your network. You have to build your media contact, because it's very, very needed in the media space. So when you get rejections, don't let it discourage you. It's normal. Even people that are at the tops, they've gotten a lot of rejections. But if they are sat down like, oh, I'm not good enough, they won't be where they are today. If myself, if I sat down like, oh, these rejections are too much, you know, when you are saying, I'm sorry, dear candidate, I'm sorry, you don't fit for this role, you know, it breaks your heart. But at the same time, use it as a motivation to be better. So like I said already, you build your network. Industry and professional mentors, always have someone you're looking up to. Have someone that is an inspiration to you, you know, someone that is going to push you to bring out, you know, the real you, to bring out your skills and all. So, and always be curious to learn. Be curious to learn every day. Don't let any day go by without you learning something. Like I said, we learn every day. The PR space is evolving. There is technology in PR. Now AI is here. How do we, you know, when AI came, people were like, oh, AI is going to make people lose their jobs. AI can do pitch decks, AI can write, AI can do all of these things. But AI is technology. I think without us, the AI even won't be here to stay. So yeah, AI is very helpful. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's very, very helpful. But when while you're using these technologies, while you're using this AI and all, I don't expect you to, let me say, for instance, you want to write do copywriting for someone. I don't expect you to just go to AI and take paste everything on AI, copy and paste everything on AI. No, I don't do that. I mean, what if AI? How have we been writing our press release? How have we been doing our PR decks without when AI wasn't here? So that's why I said you read books, you learn, so that even when you want to use these technologies, there is a way you prompt it. There's a way you prompt it to use it, and you know, it just makes your own work very, very different. You enhance your skills very important. I don't know why I'm emphasizing on this thing, but it's very, very important to enhance your skills. It's not just your degree. It's not just about bagging your degree, but after bagging your degree, what next? You know, stay up to date. I'm always on my phone. You know, people be like, oh, Esther, you're always on your phone. I'm not on my phone because I just want to be on my phone. You know, when I see some adverts, I don't know if you guys know this new app that is running, this shopping app, Temu shopping app now. It's everywhere. It's everywhere now. They didn't just it didn't just happen in a day. There's a lot of work that went down from the marketing team, the PR team, and all. I see a lot of videos influencers are making. Influencers didn't just come up to make those videos on their own. That's collaboration. And anytime I come up across the ad, I come across it, I'm like, oh, these people, the team did a great thing. And trust me, the money they spent on advertising, marketing, and PR, they are going to make a lot back from it. So that's just it. As I encourage you guys as upcoming PR professionals, PR is a beautiful field. It's you learn a lot. I'm so proud to be a PR girly. I am really, really proud. And like I said, it's not just studying mass comm, it's knowing what you want. Are you really studying mass comm? Because mass comm is broad, is wide, but are you picking PR because you want to, or because you have passion for this PR and all? So I'd like us to ask questions. If you want me to answer any questions, the floor is open. Feel free to ask me your questions.
Thank you so much, Esther. So if you have questions, please ask your questions. I believe that while she was speaking, you had some questions you wanted to ask. Maybe you wrote it down. Please ask your questions. Can everyone hear us? I don't want to believe that no one has a question. Esther has given us a lot.
Mike. Yes, you have to come forward.
So while she comes forward, me, I would say I took a lot of points, and I'll just summarize. She says, start early and you can volunteer. It's also important to network, ask questions. So if you do not know something, always ask. Don't just assume. Shoot your shot. So you have peer agencies you want to work with. You have organizations you want to work with. Look for the founders, the owners, the CEO. Shoot your shot. Send them a DM. So you might not get a positive response, but they know that this person is very serious. And she also said, if you are not on LinkedIn, why are you not on LinkedIn? So this is a call out to everyone. If you are not on LinkedIn, after this summit, go and open a LinkedIn profile. Yeah, she also said learning is important to learn, but practicing what you've learned is important. And she shared the story of the UNILAG student that started practicing even before he got into school. So just imagine that person has been practicing, graduates from school, that person on another level. So this is a call, this is a point of duty for you to start now. You can start content creation, your personal brand, start building your own personal brand. You can do these things for free. Esther has actually shared a lot, and some of the mistakes she made, we don't want you to make those mistakes. So we hope you've gotten those points, taken it down, and you action it. So Esther, we have one question.
Okay.
And the question is, how did you develop the necessary skills needed to start your career? How did you develop the necessary skills needed to start your career?
Okay. I think from the beginning, you need to know your strengths. I think everybody there's a particular thing you love to do. So right from secondary school, I've always learned. I've always loved to write and make content. I said that earlier, and I'm just gonna mention my dad was someone that is so keen about education, and he noticed I love to do these things, and he encouraged me as well. So I was always writing. So I took courses, I took classes on that as well. He got a tutor for me that directed my paths in writing and also in content creation, and consistency. I would say consistency. When you discover that you know you love to do this thing, you don't just, because if you don't practice, it's going to, not that it's going to leave you, it won't leave you, but you are not going to you're not just going to get better. So it's consistency in this in writing, consistency in writing that helped me to earn my skills, and courses I took on it as well. And I opened a blog also to share. It can start with just sharing your daily thoughts, sharing how you feel. It's a lot. It's just expressing the way the way you feel to write. So that's how I earn my skill. Consistency, I would say. I hope
All
I
right,
answered
thank
the
you.
question.
All right, thank you. Hope the question was answered. So we are waiting for others. Do you have more questions for us?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Well, my question is, when she mentioned networking, like maintaining contact. So once you have gotten the contact, what mannerism are you meant to use for those contacts? That's what I want to know. Like, so I don't think you can just like message every day to be checking up on them. Like, so I want to know like the mannerism that should be applied in
Okay.
maintaining network contacts.
Okay. So
All right, thank you.
what I do when I get a new contact, I message and introduce myself again. Oh, I'm Esther. We met at so event. Then tell them what you're good at. Tell them what you do. So I just say I'm Esther. Met at this. Just in case. This is what I do. I share my portfolio. I share my resume with them, and just in case anything comes up, let me know. Then I don't check on them every day. No, I don't. But I reach out from time to time to, oh, hello, how you doing? And all. So just to make sure the relationship is there. So when I need something, I won't just go into their DM. So it won't be like, we are human beings. So it won't be like, oh, she needs this today. She remembered me. So no, I check on them from time to time, but not like bugging them with messages and all. No, you don't do that, just when necessary, and maybe on special occasions and all. But I make sure to send my portfolio and to send my resume. Very important.
All right, thank you, Esther. Hope we've been able to answer your question. Does that answer your question? All right, thank you. Are there more questions? I will just read one from the chat. The person is saying, what should someone do after continuous rejection from jobs? And how do we get back on our feet after countless rejections?
Nice. So I'll tell you what I did. I mentioned I from the hiring managers that I could reach, I went back to look for them on LinkedIn, and I reached out to them on LinkedIn. Oh, can you tell me what I did wrong? Why I wasn't picked for this role? And a lot of them go back to me and like, oh, this is why, this is the reason why, this is the reason why. And when I got all those things back, I went back to perfect those things. I went back to learn more on those things. I went back to do an in-depth research on those things. So I didn't take, yeah, I felt discouraged, but I didn't take it as is a downfall. No. So I reached out to them, and when they told me what I did wrong and what I could have done better, I went back to work on these things. And even sometimes if you don't have if you don't want to take courses online, YouTube is a very good place. There is nothing, I don't think there is anything you won't see on YouTube. So you go back to work on these things and learn on these things. So that's what you do when you get rejection. You don't just sit back and do nothing, or feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. No, you go back to work on these things, and that's it.
All right, thank you very much, Esther. Like Esther said, I think asking questions is very important. So reach out to these HR personnel, ask the person what was missing, what did I do right, what are you looking for. So I think when you're sending another job, when you're applying for another job opportunity, you can improve that on your CV. So if it's your portfolio that you need to add something, you can add it. So yeah, thank you so much, Esther. So do we have another question from the all? Is there anyone that wants to ask a question? Are we shy? I don't want to believe we are shy, because being confident is also a skill that you need.
Very important.
Very important. I will read from the chat. Do you have any mentor or role model you look up to in the industry?
Oh, yes. So I said I was at that time I was looking up to Dr. Buki George Taylor when I was just starting my career. But now I have different models I'm looking up to, and international CEOs as well, likes of Ivan Partners, Rachel Ivan, likes of this Joanne Mostu. So I look up to these people. You can't, I don't think if you are in any field at all, there has to be someone that you're looking up to. There has to be where you're getting your inspiration from. So yes, those are my role models that I look up to, my inspirations.
Sorry, please, I have a question.
Okay.
Oh, please go on. Thank you, Esther. Please hope you got those names down, so you can just get the names of people you look up to in the public relations industry and just sort of mirror them, so you know how to do it better. So thank you, Esther. Please go on with your question. Thank you.
All right. So for someone going for internship and you want to apply, let's say you do your application process and you're filling out the job position you want. Do you apply for the the public relations officer position in that company, or is there like a special kind of position for like interns to fill? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, I think I get you. So in some PR firms, they focus, they have just one niche that they focus on. While some PR firms, they have different corporate, like I said, corporate lifestyle or entertainment. So as much as you need to know your strengths in this field, is also very important to have experience in all of these things. It's very important to have experience in all of these things. So when you're applying for internships, did you say if it's not a public relations role?
It is.
If it's a public relations role,
Yes.
yeah, definitely. If it's a public relations role, you can apply for it in any of these fields that you want. Or is it that when you want a particular field, or when you want a particular department?
No, so let's say now I want to work for a decoration company as their public relations officer, and I reach out to them, but I'm going as an intern. Is it like advisable
to put my status as a public relations officer, knowing fully well that I'm an intern because I'm going for internship from my school?
Oh, Deb, you can. Well, when I was starting out as an intern, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't blame myself as an intern because I don't know. We live in a country like Nigeria. Once they see that intern, they feel like, oh, you're a newbie. You don't really know what you're doing. So while I was starting, I didn't put out my role. I didn't put out my position. I just put the normal public relations specialist, brands manager with no title as well. So you can do that. You can just put. You don't need to write your intern. So for me, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a question.
Please go on.
Yeah, so you mentioned something about freelancing. So I wanted to know how you went about that and what steps you took and the whole process and everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I reached out to a couple of people on LinkedIn, which is why I said you need to open a LinkedIn account if you don't have one. So I reached out to a couple of people on LinkedIn. Before I reached out, I did a research on them, on the brands, or if they work on anything that I could be a part of. So after doing that, I reached out to them that, I would love to join you on this project. I would love to be with you on this project. I don't mind. You don't have to say you don't have to tell them that you don't mind them paying you. You don't have to say that. But in some cases where I look at it and I feel like, oh, this project is going to be really, really good for my portfolio, I tell them, oh, I really don't mind you paying me. I just want to have experience in this. So I reach out to them on LinkedIn. And then word of mouth is also very important. Tell your friends, oh, I can do this in case you see anybody that wants to. I don't mind doing this. I don't mind doing this for this person. And for content creation that I was good at on Instagram, I reached out to a lot of brands that, oh, I could come and I can work on this shoot for you. I can do a content on this stuff for you. So I reached out a lot of brands, and that's how I got my freelancing gigs as well. So it's just reaching out to these people on your LinkedIn, on your Instagram, but you don't just reach out to them, because once they ask you certain questions, you have to do a very deep research on what they do and brands that they've even worked with. And also once they ask you questions like this, or what do you know about us, so you can be able to answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Esther. Because of our time, we are moving on to our next speaker. Thank you so much, Esther. We really appreciate your time.
And you can connect with me on LinkedIn on Esther Asuquo. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. So that is how you network. So if you have any questions and you just want advice from Esther, she's very much available to answer all of your questions and just to guide you. So reach out to her on LinkedIn. So we'll get right to our next speaker. Grace has been on the call. Thank you so much, Grace, for your patience thus far. Grace is a versatile communications professional with experience working in the energy, supply chain, media and entertainment, and also faith-based sectors. A journey from a teenager fascinated by performing arts, earning a degree in French and German languages, to becoming a professional content writer. For 4 years, paved her path into communications and public relations. Grace is currently a communications analyst at TREXM Holdings, recognized by the Financial Times as one of the fastest growing companies in Africa 2023. Grace is so passionate about impacting youth and sharing her experience, because she believes that the only way we get better is by sharing and giving back. So thank you so much, Grace. You have the mic.
All right, thank you very much, Esther. Thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you, everyone. I would like to start by thanking the Nigerian Women in Public Relations for putting this program together. And I would also like to thank the Faculty of Mass Communications, Covenant University, as well as every single person on on this call right now, those who are joining virtually as well. Thank you everyone for being here. I wouldn't waste time with introducing myself. Esther has done that, and gracefully so. Before I go ahead, can everyone hear me? Can I confirm that everyone can hear me? All right, fantastic.
I can hear you. Students, can you hear her? Yes, please go on, Grace.
All right, thanks, Esther. Before going into my story, I'd like to start by saying that everything that you would ever achieve in life is going to begin with a desire, right? But the difference between dreams that come true and dreams that die or remain dreams is the action you take after that desire. So a lot of us here can attest to the fact that we have a lot of desires. We have a lot of things that we dream about, a lot of things that we want to do, right? But sometimes they never get to be done. And the difference, the differentiating factor really is the steps that you take. And I'm happy and glad that you are all here. That tells me that you are taking a step, a very small step, but a very very big one as well, into being PR and comms professional. I also like to echo what Professor Kehinde said earlier. And what she said is that for you all here, and I'm speaking about the Covenant University students and some of the other guests that we have as well. She said that you are taking a first step towards becoming a PR and comms professional by being a student. So the fact that you are currently enrolled into the mass communication programs at your institution, that is, the very first step that you sometimes need to transition into PR and comms. I'll go ahead to share my screen. I have some slides here that I'm going to talk through. Just give me a few seconds. Okay, so I'm going to be speaking on the topic, my PR experience, transition from student to professional. My desire is that this session is highly interactive, so please keep your questions coming in. I'll do well to answer any comments or questions that you may have at the end of today. So my objective really, what I hope to achieve by my own session is, first of all, to share my experience from being a student to being a professional in the PR and comms space. Second thing I would like to do is also to introduce comms and public relations. The first speaker, Esther, has done a great job on that. So I'll just touch on that a little bit. And also just to explore the various career opportunities within the communications and PR industry. And then finally, to inspire you. I mean, I hope that, my story inspires you to take action, into realizing your own dreams. So how did I transition from a student to a comms professional? Now that I think about it, it's actually something I can laugh about. I would say that my transition from being a student to being a PR and comms professional, it's an interplay between a lot of things. It's an interplay between mistakes that I made, opportunities, great teachers, but at the center of everything, God was at the middle of everything, or he's still in the middle of everything for me. So, I know that this is like a professional platform, and you might be wondering, oh, why are you talking about God and all of that? Is because I can't take away that divine touch on my career. I can't take away God from my own story. And so he forms, part of my experience as a comms professional. So I'll just go straight to my story. For the longest time, and I believe from secondary school, I always had this desire to do comms. Of course, at that time, I didn't know that, you know, the terminology was comms or PR, but I just had this fascination with, at that time it was debate club, right? Because my school had a lot of clubs and you were obliged to join two clubs. So I was in drama club because I was also very fascinated with performing arts. I was a member of the drama club, and I think I was a member of, I think, French club or something like that. So there were a lot of interests for me in secondary school with performing arts, with comms, and also foreign languages, right? But of course, I'm a teenager and I didn't really know how to express those desires. So the immediate thing, or the nearest thing I could do was to join, you know, the clubs and societies in my school at that time that kind of reflected what my desires were. Also, you know, worthy to chip in that I was super shy. I used to be very, very, very shy and introverted. So at the time, it didn't make sense to me that, oh, I'm a very shy person, but I like performing acts. Like, I love to act on stage. I like to stand in front of the crowd, even though my heart is pounding, like my heart is literally racing, you know. But I just loved the thrill of that. I loved to pass across information. And as Esther also said, in her during her own time, during her own session, I loved to write. So if there was something that, you know, that I really loved at that time, it was these activities. Of course, I didn't know, like I said earlier, how these would translate. So I did all of that in secondary school, graduated, and between secondary school and, you know, getting to uni, in my head, I wanted to study French and German. Like like at SS1, that's the first year of senior secondary school, I thought that the career path I wanted to take was in foreign languages. So my head was, okay, I would graduate, I would then become, you know, probably work as a diplomat, probably work in international relations. And of course, you know, in Nigerian schools, most Nigerian schools, that is, there's usually a limitation to the kind of courses you could study, right? Of course, there was international relations, but for me, and because of the kind of background I have, my mom studied French language, right? So because of that influence, I just said to myself, you know what, I'm going to study foreign languages in university. And I went for it. So my O levels, my WAEC, my JAM, my NECO, I wrote French. I knew that this is what I wanted to study. So you know how in Nigerian universities, people who find themselves in foreign languages or studying French, what they usually say is, oh, I applied for so course, but I couldn't get that cutoff mark, so they put me in French department. In my case, it wasn't that. It was very deliberate. I wanted to study this. So, you know, fast forward into university, went through the 4 years, did an exchange program in my third year in another country, you know, graduated, having studied double majors in French and German, you know. And in my head, I was like, okay, you know what, the job market, I'm ready for you. I'm ready to take on the international relations space. I'm ready to, you know, go and be an ambassador or something. But like I said, God had other plans. Because when I got to serve my NYSC year, this was like months after graduating, when we were deployed, one prayer that I knew I used to pray then was, God, I don't want to teach. I don't want them to, like, I don't want to be deployed to a school and I have to teach. I don't want to do that. Just place me in a great place. And without even like trying to maneuver it and all not, I was posted to a local TV station. And so throughout my 1 year, serving, I used to work in that TV station. So what I used to do majorly at that time was writing of script writing for news, and I used to also anchor a particular program. I think it was Sundays. So that's what I did throughout my time serving. After service, you know, I told myself, okay, it's time for us to go get that international, you know, relations stuff. But as God will have it, I think it was a month after my after passing out from NYSC, a friend of mine sent me a job vacancy. And she said, oh, this job. So to just give context, I grew up and I was raised in Jos. Jos is in Plateau State, it's in the Middle Belt region. So after service, of course, I went back to my parents' house in Jos, where I started to apply for, several opportunities in that city. I know that I sent application even to a radio station. I applied to a couple of places though, and I was just, in that period where you're waiting, trying to know what next with your life. So at that period, a friend of mine sent me a job vacancy in Lagos, and she said, oh, these people, and I read through the job description and what they needed for that role. And it was, they needed someone who would be a TV host. And the job description sounded like someone that, like, the person they needed should be experienced. So when she sent it to me, I just see that, like, why is she sending me this kind of thing? I'm not qualified for this role. And so I just, packed it together, dropped it one side, and continued to wait out the other applications I had sent out. 3 weeks, I think, or 2 weeks after she sent it to me, she just checked in and said, oh, hey, Grace, have you applied for this role? I really think you should apply, and I really think, you'd be accepted. And I said, okay, you know what? Since this girl decided to bug me, I'm just going to apply. Let it be that fulfilled all righteousness. So I went on and applied. And I think a few days after that, the CEO calls me and we have a long conversation. I think it was an hour plus. And that conversation was literally my interview. So he asked a couple of questions and all of that, and I answered. And through it all, my heart was seriously pounding out, like, okay, what impression am I making with this man? Is he even taking me seriously? But I noticed that the conversation was tilting to a very favorable angle, and so I just went with the flow, kept on answering his questions. And one thing that happened during that conversation that I would like to highlight, and also to piggyback off what Esther said initially about taking first steps. The thing that the CEO said to me was, I love the way you write. I went through your blog and I saw, and I've seen the things you've written, and I love your writing style. And I think that you'll be a perfect fit for this role. Right? Now, my blog was something I used to do throughout my uni. It was just something I just did because I love to write. It was an avenue for me to just share, just things that were on my mind and just document it on a blog. And some people read it, they kind of liked it. But for this particular job interview, this was something that, this CEO said that he was highlighting and he liked. I'm just highlighting this to say that there are probably like small things, small abilities that you have. Maybe you write poems, maybe you create content on maybe like visual content. Those things that you think that do not necessarily matter, sometimes those are the things that can open doors for you. And in my case, I got the job. They offered me an accommodation, and that was how I relocated from Jos to Lagos. And since then, I've been, walking through roles. So for the past, I think 3 to 4 years, as at 20, so no, for the past like 7 years before now, I had been working in roles that were kind of subsects of comms and PR. What do I mean? I had been a content writer, I've been a radio producer, I've been a content strategist. All of these things are subsects of comms and PR. So while I never had the job title of comms or PR up until like 3 years ago, right? I was working on roles that were kind of related to content writing. So I got to a point, I think this was 2020. I got to a point where I said, you know what? I'm tired of just writing content and blog articles and blog posts. And they say, oh, please give me 10 articles this week. Create a video. I was just tired of that. I wanted, again, a new desire started to form in me. I wanted to do more than just churning out comms activities. I wanted to think. I wanted to have like a strategic approach to things. At that time, to be honest, in 2020, I did not have the right words to define this desire. All I know was that I was at that time I was a content writer slash radio producer, right, for one of the radio stations here in Lagos. I just wanted to do something different. I was just tired of taking orders. Oh, do this, do that. I wanted to think deeply. I wanted to be more strategic in the way that I approached comms, because I discovered that PR and comms, has one of the major roles for PR and comms is that it shapes mindset and it shapes culture. And having that understanding back then, I then started to think to myself, I want to be at the forefront of this thing. I want to push out a content, not because I need to push out a content as my deliverable, but because there is a thought process that goes behind this. There is something intentional and deliberate. It's actually changing people's mind. It's impacting the way people think, right? So that desire then drove me to start to ask questions about communications. I started to do a couple of research on my own, and just to ask a lot of questions. Again, God then had the divine factor, and God then came into that play. And my next job that I transitioned into was a full comms role, right? And that job was the game changer, or that job was kind of like a catalyst for where I am today, because it was at that job that I started to see the difference between just comms activities and actually being a core communication and PR professional. It was at that place where my line manager started to tell me, started to just challenge me and tell me things like, Grace, you have to think through the process. You have to be more strategic. It was a very difficult journey. I will not lie to you. There were nights that I would cry. There were nights that I would even start to question myself and ask myself, are you even sure? Are you sure you have what it takes to be a comms person? But one thing that I did, and I still do, is that I took the feedback and I decided to take steps, right? And again, for after I had spent, I think, about a year, 6 months at this particular role, another opportunity came up, and that was how I then transitioned into the energy sector. I'll pause here to just highlight something. And it's just to say that when it comes to comms and PR, there are two major ways that you can work or have a profession in comms and PR. The first one is in agency. So like, for instance, Esther, the first speaker, she works in an agency, meaning that she interfaces with a lot of clients. She interfaces with a lot of brands. For myself, and for some people also who are in the comms and PR space, we work on the client side. That means that we work with specific organizations. We work to make sure that their PR and their communication, strategies and activities are well captured. So I just wanted to put that out there so that, when you're also making a decision in terms of your career, you can then have this, knowledge on your hands and then make better decisions. Having said that, having shared my story, I'll go on to the next slide to define PR. So if you go online, there are like so many definitions of PR and comms, right? I'd also like to add here that PR and comms, they are related in a way, but there are also some distinctions, right? But I won't spend time on that. But what I would do is to first of all define PR. My definition of PR and the way that I approach PR and comms is that PR is a perfect blend of science, art, and creativity in communicating messages to a defined audience to influence their mindsets. You may be asking, okay, how is PR and comms a science? It's a science because, like Esther mentioned earlier, when you see a communication activities, for instance, you see an advert, or you see a press release, or probably you see an event, right? They're not just random, they are put together strategically. And one of the things that helps us in this industry is data. So that's where science comes in. If you ask any PR or comms professional, you would find out that when they're about to launch a campaign, or when it comes to their brands, managing their brand reputation and whatnot, there is always a huge level of data that goes into it. So you'd see people, you'd see professionals typically doing like audience segmentation. The idea is you need to understand who you are pushing out your message to, right? If, for instance, your target audience are people between the ages of 18 and 30, the way you would craft your communication and PR messages is quite different from when you have people who are 50 and 75, right? So that's where the science comes in. There's a lot of data, a lot of research, a lot of questions that comes in, a lot of survey even, so that you can make sure that your comms activity is impactful. Of course, PR and comms is an art because you are being creative. You are coming up with things that never existed before. If you want to put an advert, for instance, you're coming up with a concept. It takes a lot of, artistic creativity to come up with that, right? So my own definition is that PR is a science, art, and is also comes with creativity as well. And you are always sending out your message or targeting a defined audience. There is no such thing as, oh, we are trying to reach everybody in PR. There is always a target audience. And so for those of you who would be transitioning into PR and comms roles, you would notice that if you work in a firm or an organization or for a person, one of the questions you always have to ask yourself is, this thing I'm doing, does it speak to my target audience? Because if you're not speaking to your target audience, then, I mean, what are you doing, right? You're probably just churning out content that will not be impactful and will not yield results. Another definition of PR, according to the Public Relations Society of America, is that PR is about influencing, engaging, and building relationships with key stakeholders across numerous platforms to shape and frame public perception of an organization. So I would also add that this doesn't exclusively apply to organizations. You can do PR for an individual. You can do PR for, of course, an organization and even for brands as well, right? So I'll just add that. In terms of comms, the way I like to define comms is crafting messaging that changes action or changes the mindset of a specific target audience. Of course, they are closely related. Comms and PR are closely related, but there are some distinctions and some differences. So why is comms or PR, why is it a profitable profession? So I'll start by saying this. Before I came into PR and comms, I didn't fully understand the advantages that came with this profession, right? And that's because I came in with a lot of lack of understanding and knowledge. I used to think that PR and comms, they're just that department in the office that just post on social media, just do one or two content and all of that. But the truth is that comms and PR is way beyond that. And except you start to think of yourself as someone who brings value to an organization or a brand or a person as a comms professional, you wouldn't really go far, in your profession. You wouldn't really go far in the industry. So number one is high demand. You may not believe this, but comms and PR is in high demand. And I guess the reason why this is not well known is because PR and comms, we kind of always work at the backstage, right? So you would hear what Esther said, the first speaker. She talked about how for some concerts, for instance, you're just coming to the concert, you're just vibing, you're just having a good time. You don't realize that a lot of work has been done by a PR, strategist or a PR team behind the scene. You don't know that a lot of thought process has gone into how the messaging, the advertising, the setting up of the event place, the activities that happen at the event, all of these things. In fact, sometimes even to the way the artist would dress, even to the lineup of maybe the song they would sing, those things have been strategically planned by a PR team. But of course, you just come, you have a good time, and you don't really know that a lot has happened. So I think that because PR and comms, we always work behind the scene, right? Whether it's on the agency side, whether it's on the client side. A lot of people don't know that, PR is in high demand, but trust me, PR is in high demand. Every artist you see out there, every public figure you see out there, every organization that values their reputation and their branding, they would always go for a comms or PR professional, because as a brand, as an organization, or as a person, the way that you make money, the way you stay in business is through your reputation. If nobody trusts you, they're not going to buy anything from you. If nobody trusts your brand, the reason why you have certain brands that you patronize is because you've seen something about that brand that you agree with and you trust, and so you are going to patronize that brand. And the team or the person who does that job is the comms or the PR professional. Of course, you may not know, like I said, but that's that. Yeah, the second reason why PR is profitable is that it has a diverse career path. I'm not going to lie, it is very true. Of course, I know that, right now in your school, you're all under one umbrella, all under one department, mass comm. The truth is that when you begin to go into the job market, you would realize that your classmates, people who are your classmates, the kind of job roles you would fill out will be quite different. Of course, there's an interplay, there's some form of, relationship, but sometimes it's distinct. For instance, the first speaker, she's a PR manager. I'm a corporate communications analyst, right? In PR, there are other subsects. You can have even the digital marketer. You can have the public relations manager. You can have the government relations, the stakeholder manager, change leader. There are so many roles under PR. And one thing that I think that it does for you as an individual is that it makes you very versatile. So for instance, in my case, for instance, I can do basic graphics with Canva because there are certain times in my role that I've had to do that. I can host a podcast, for instance. I can speak, I can create a visual content. I can speak, I can handle a social media account. I can do basic digital marketing campaigns. I can fill in a digital marketing role. I can fill in a radio producer role because I've had to do those things in the past. I can do content writing. The list is endless. I can do brand reputation because at some point or the other, I've had to do these things in the role. And because of the way PR is structured in Nigeria, well, I don't know if this is unfortunately, but I think it's also advantageous. The way PR and comms is typically structured in a good number of Nigerian organizations is that you will see that a PR person is doing a lot of things at the same time, right? Of course, you can specialize, but there's always that point in time in your career where you are probably doing diverse things. So for instance, you might be a corporate communications manager, but you are doing internal comms, you are doing stakeholder relations, you are doing social media management, and you are doing all of these things. Of course, sometimes it comes with its own disadvantages, but the truth is that, and the way I like to approach my professional journey is that I like to see the bright side of everything, right? Because of my journey, can fit into, sorry about that, I can fit into several roles, because I've had to do that. The financial benefits, yes, it also comes, the PR and comms profession comes with financial benefits. And I'll give you an example. So yes, I have like my core job that I do, but there are times where people can meet me on the side and say, oh, please, I want you to manage this campaign for me. And I'm going to get paid for that. That's extra money coming into my pocket, So there's that possibility, with PR. Then there's also job stability and flexibility. Trust me, PR also comes, well, some people can some people would find this, some people can debate this because PR comes is a high pressure job, especially if you work on the client side. because you're like Esther gave an example. She was supposed to travel for her birthday, and that was the day a crisis happened. You don't say no to the client, you have to fix it, right? So yes, it comes with its own level of pressure, but it is also stable and it is flexible. Flexible in the sense that you find yourself, wearing multiple hats in the course of your career. You are wearing multiple hats. Today you are probably a video director, because you're the one who came up with the idea for the video. Tomorrow you're probably doing internal comms because your organization needs you to engage, the employees. It's also that flexible. So moving on, what are some career opportunities in comms and PR? This list is not exhaustive. This is just a few that I could fit into this slide, right? But the list is endless. I've talked about PR specialist. That is a niche that you can pursue in comms or PR. You can be a media relations manager. You can be a crisis communications manager. This crisis communications manager, it's a big thing because no brand wants to be in crisis. And if you can hone this skill, for instance, this crisis communication manager skill, trust me, you're going to be like hot cake. There are other, subsects and major comms role. There's marketing comms, there's corporate comms, there's event comms, there's even social media, management, digital marketing. A lot of these things, change leadership management, reputation and branding management. All of these things are roles that come under comms and PR. And there are roles that are openly, they are open and available for you to take in. What I would say is, usually, once you start to work in comms and PR, or maybe for you guys who are already in school, you would notice that there are certain niche that you are naturally drawn to, right? For some people, it could be internal comms. It could be that you're just interested in people management. It could be that you're just interested in just managing the internal communication processes and procedures in an organization, right? That is something that you could fancy, or that's something that comes naturally to you. For some people, it could be PR. You just know that, you know what, I just want to be in PR. I want to be in media relations. It just depends on your area of interest, really. But if I'm to advise, I would say this: starting out your career in comms and PR, try to be as diverse as possible. Don't be in a hurry to streamline your role, or don't be in a hurry to try to find a niche early on in your career. Try to be diverse. Why am I saying this? When you start off your career in comms, being versatile, you would learn a lot of skills along the way. And those skills could be the differentiator for you when you are going for leadership positions and for leadership roles. So yeah, that's just, on the side. What are emerging trends in PR? What are some emerging trends? Of course, there's digital PR. So in the industry now, we are moving away from traditional PR to digital PR. And I mean, the reason is a no-brainer. The world is digital now. We are all on at least 2 digital platforms, right? So that just tells you the way the direction the world is moving at. Every serious brand or organization or talent has an online presence. The digital world on its own is quite complex and quite different. Let me paint this scenario. Before social media, before the internet became a huge deal, right? It was easier to manage PR. If, for instance, your company, maybe they have a product in the market that is fake, maybe the manufacturing of that, or maybe there's a mistake in the manufacturing. And I'm talking about when the internet and social media was not really a thing. If there's a mistake in the manufacturing, the truth is that the complaints and the word and the feedback about those products will not be as much as now. If you buy a product that has some default or some defect, all you need to do today is send a tweet and just say, I don't understand what XYZ is selling to me, oh. And that tweet can go viral. And somebody can even, after it goes viral on Twitter, somebody can even then take it to Instagram or to TikTok or to another major platform. And that thing just keeps spreading. So you see that the dynamics has changed a lot from traditional, to digital. So PR is fast moving away from traditional. We are looking into digital. What that means is that coming into the PR and com space, you have to hone your skills, with digital marketing, basic digital, understand basic digital marketing principles, understand the ways, different major platforms like Twitter or Instagram or, Facebook, understand how they work, understand the platform that fits your brand. Not every brand needs to have an Instagram page or an Instagram account. Not every brand needs to be tweeting funny stuff on Twitter. Imagine if who can I use as an example? Imagine if maybe a church or something, or imagine if a serious person, someone that we regard as serious, maybe a politician, comes online and is talking anyhow. A regular person can get away with that because they're a regular person, but the repercussion of that person, that prominent figure coming online to speak anyhow, is that they're going to trend, and they're going to trend in the wrong way. And that wrong trending is going to impact negatively on their reputation. And that is also going to impact negatively on the way they are being perceived and the outcomes, that they get as a brand or as a person. So please, as you're coming into the labor market, hone your basic digital marketing skills. At least know how to handle a social media account. Know how to engage people, because these things are very important. Know how to run a digital PR campaign. Know how to manage the crisis that comes with that. Of course, you learn some of these things as you go on and as you learn and gain experience on the job. The next thing is content creation and storytelling. So this platform that we are currently, this what you call it now, this summit that we're currently on, is a great example of storytelling. Why? The first speaker shared her story, and I also shared my story in a way to bring you to understand how you can transition from being a student to being a PR professional. We could have just come here with figures and numbers and say, oh, you know what, if you want to transition, number one, do this. But storytelling makes it more relatable. Storytelling brings it home. And for every brand, for every organization, for anybody who is going into PR and comms, you also have to learn how to leverage storytelling, to manage the messaging and the reputation of whoever you are representing, whether it's the client or whether it's an agency. And of course, data-driven PR. I've spoken earlier about how PR is a science. There's a science part of PR, and data forms data forms the core of that. We don't just throw out press releases or put an ad together or post online because we want to, or because we want to tick off, our checklist. We will always go for data. And if you notice, if you do a comparison between a campaign that was just done because, oh, we have to do a campaign, and a campaign that is data driven, you will always see the difference. You would see that a lot of thoughts went into a data driven PR, because if you are the target audience, it would spark some kind of emotion. It would spark some kind of action, right? It would spark something in you. It would spark a conversation if it's maybe for development, if it's for maybe PR, maybe that's related to maybe developmental change or stuff like that. It would always spark a reaction in you. And that is the heart of what PR and comms should be. It shouldn't always be, about groove or even if you are grooving, even if my brand is a playful brand and we post playful content online, it should be intentional and it should be data driven. I should have data that tells me that, you know what, the target audience for my brand, they are teenagers, and we know that teenagers are playful. And so we are creating this content to impact them and to reach them and to, you know, spark some kind of change. So these are some emerging trends in PR. What skills do you need, you know, for your success in comms and PR? These are a few, but I'll just touch on them. Communication skills is very important. You have to learn how to speak and write clearly. I remember when I was working on when I was still in like the media production industry. So I used to work for Ultima Studios, the producers of Project Fame and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And one thing that, you know, the head of content will always say to us is, or to me rather, is, Grace, you need to learn how to communicate what is in your head in a way that someone doesn't have to, it shouldn't be rocket science for who is reading this content. I should be able to pick up your content and understand what you are trying to say. I should be able to look at your ad or whatever thing you are putting out there, and I should relate to it. Like I should have like a heart connection, if I can put it that way. You know, so communication skills very important for anyone who wants to succeed in the comms and PR space. You have to learn to speak clearly, and you have to learn to speak persuasively. And by persuasively, it doesn't mean that, oh, you have to maybe in the tone of your voice or whatnot. No, it means that you have to get your data together. If, for instance, you work with an NGO and let's say that the NGO is targeted at maybe widows, maybe empowerment of widows, you have to be able to speak to those who are trying to raise funds from in a way that they can see that, okay, these women need financial empowerment. They need your money to empower them. And it's not necessarily about, you know, the grammar and whatnot, but it's placing facts in front of them, is doing thorough research so that they know that where their money is going to, you know, is actually legit and is going to a good cause, right? Of course, we can't downplay creativity and innovation. In the comms and PR space, you need to be creative and you need to be innovative. Why do I say this? So you know how there are some words that people use so much that it loses its meaning, right? Creativity and innovation are two of those kinds of words. We've used creativity and innovation so much, so often that it has lost its meaning. But what do I mean by creativity? Creativity goes beyond, oh, I came up with a nice script for an ad, for instance. It's that when I'm faced with challenges or when I'm executing my job as a PR or comms person, I can be creative in the way I approach things. I'll give you an instance. You probably maybe you land a job with a startup, right? And one thing we know about some startups is that funding is not so great, right? And maybe your budget for the year, they've told you that, you know what, this XYZ is your budget for the year. And you've looked at it, you've seen that your budget cannot cover maybe adverts every time. What creative things can you do to get the result that you would get if you ran an ad? Right? Innovation, on the other hand, is that you do not accept roadblocks. Even if you are faced with a situation, you tell yourself that, you know what, I have to come up with a solution. I have to get this thing done. It's about not accepting no. It's about, you know, resilience. Is that I'm trying to run a campaign. I'm trying to plan an event. And the vendor that was supposed to come and, you know, maybe the vendor that I brought to bring food or drinks or refreshment for this event disappointed me. Instead of just wallowing in self-pity and, you know, just letting it weigh me down, I'm going to be innovative. What can I do with the short time I have possible? How can I come up with new ideas? Who can I reach out to? And that also speaks to what Esther said about, you know, having networking and having contacts. Who can I reach out to help me solve this problem? right? Strategic thinking. I'll start by saying that if you want to succeed in comms and PR, you have to have a strategic mindset. It is it is not even debatable. You have to have a strategic mindset. And let me touch a bit on my personal story, how I adopted or how I even came across a strategic mindset. I had talked about how I'd had roles that were connected to comms, were not comms calls, core comms role, right? In what year was that? I think it was like last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. No, it was this year actually. Sorry, this year. I registered for a course. And that course is called Strategic Communications. Strategic Communications is also an example of a field that you can pursue in communications or PR. You know, and being in that course changed my mindset forever. Because what that course did for me was that it made me start to look at everything I do from a strategic mindset. What do I mean by strategic mindset? It means that before I do anything, I'm going to ask myself, why am I doing this? And who stands to benefit from doing this? Trust me, throughout your journey in comms and PR, if you can learn to ask this simple question, right? If you can learn to ask this simple question, it would change things for you. You will notice that you are not just doing comms or PR because I'm trying to do an activity. I'm not just posting on social media because I'm expected to post on social media. If I approach my job from a strategic mindset, it means that I'm constantly asking myself, okay, what is the strategy behind this? What is the strategy behind me organizing an event? What's the strategy behind me doing this social media campaign? What's the strategy behind me sending out this press release? What's the strategy behind me, organizing this interview for my boss or for whoever I represent? If you start to ask yourself this simple question, you would notice that the kind of things that you do in your job will begin to be impactful because thoughts went, you're able to think about it thoroughly. And one thing that a strategic mindset does is that it helps you see the big picture. It helps you see the complete picture. By the time you sit down and you start to assess, you tell yourself, okay, I have to create a okay, someone has their hand up.
Grace is me. I just wanted to remind you about the time. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks. Okay, so I was talking about, I'll just do my best to just rush through. I was talking about how having a strategic mindset will help you create comms activities that are impactful and change people or change situations or change mindsets. Of course, we have relationship building. I won't dwell on this because the first speaker had talked about this. Learn how to network. One of my own secrets to networking is this. When you want to network, don't go with the mindset of, oh, I just want to add this contact to my list. Ask yourself this: what value can I bring to this person that I'm connecting with? And have a genuine interest in people. If you begin to develop genuine interest in people, it will make networking easier for you and it will make it less tedious and more enjoyable. Learn to adapt. The comms and PR space is a place where you need to learn how to adapt. You might have planned that your PR strategy or PR campaign should go this way, and then something happens. Learn to adapt. Learn to always, go with the flow. If maybe you've created your content calendar for the month, and then something happened that is worth mentioning by your brand, adaptability will make you pick that up and go with it. So what is the impact of PR and comms on business success? There are a lot of them. The first is branding, brand building, brand reputation. We help people manage their brand. We help people manage their reputation. Of course, crisis management. We help people. We help brands. We help organizations plan their crisis management process, so that when an issue happens, an unforeseen issue happens, they are not thrown under the bus. And of course, we increase engagement and we also contribute in business growth. Finally, what I would just like to leave you in terms of like a few guidelines on how to start your PR career. Number one, get local and global trainings and certifications. Please don't be that person that says, you know what, it doesn't matter. It does matter. Get as many relevant local and global trainings. There we have NIPR. Okay, that is like that is an organization, but get local and global trainings. Get trainings on PR. Get trainings on communications, corporate communications. Get certifications and training as much as possible and based on your niche. Number two, join professional PR or communications bodies. The Nigerian one is NIPR. There's the global one, CIPR. There are so many of them. There's CIM. There are just a lot of them. Do your research and join these professional bodies. One of the advantages is that you are the first to get resources, global resources that are relevant to the industry, global resources and strategies that make you stand out. The third thing I'll say is volunteer. You are probably in uni now. Irrespective of what level you are, please volunteer in your spare time. Volunteer. Are there places in your school, for instance, or outside? Just go there and volunteer your services there. By doing that, you are picking up hands-on experience while also building your portfolio. Next thing I would say is ask questions. Please learn how to ask questions. If you don't understand something, if probably you're online or whatnot, in your classes, ask questions. Don't be shy. Learn to ask questions. The fifth thing I would say is ace your first degree. Don't think that education or getting a great grade is not important. Trust me, it is very important. Sometimes what will set you apart from other people is that you graduated with a great result or a great grade. So aim for high grades. Join professional bodies while in school. Don't wait till you graduate. There are probably students professional bodies in your school or other student bodies that are affiliated with your school. Take advantage of that. Take up leadership roles. Why am I saying this? When you become a leader, there are certain skills that you pick up in leadership roles that are very important in comms. One of it is public speaking. One of it is presentation. You would learn how to defend a campaign. You would learn how to speak to an audience, so take up leadership roles. It could be a role in your campus fellowship. It could be a role in, maybe an organization, a student organization, but please take up as many leadership roles as you can contain and learn from that experience. And then finally, hone your God-given skills and abilities. There are probably small things. You probably have a small blog, or you probably have a YouTube channel where you post videos or something. You probably have a Substack account. Take advantage of those skills, hone those skills. You never can tell where your next opportunity will come from. I'm going to round up with this because we don't have time to go through everything. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you all. I'll be looking out for your questions and comments. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Grace. We are really grateful. Do we have questions? Please, if you have any questions, let's ask. Then before the questions start coming in, Grace, there's a question that says, how do you navigate through the real life experience or field after a lot of theories in the institution?
Okay, thank you very much. I love that question. The way you're going to get real life experience is just to do it. Make up your mind that I'm going to start to practice the things I learn. And I can tell you this for a certainty, that opportunities will come up. There's just a way that life aligns with your thought process. But you have to have, and I mentioned it at the beginning, desire. Start to desire that, what, I want to get hands-on experience. I want to go beyond the classroom, what I'm being taught, and I want to get hands-on experience. What that desire should then spur you to do is to take action. Start asking questions. Start with your classmates. Start with your department. Ask questions. Are there any opportunities? I talked about volunteering. Are there even internships? Start asking questions. Open a LinkedIn account. Go online. Build your online presence. That goes a long way, right? So my answer to you is take the first steps. They may be little steps, but just take a step. Go beyond that desire and just take that step, and every other thing would align. I hope this answers your question.
I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so
Please
my
go on.
question is, how did you leverage the languages you learned into your profession?
Okay,
German
well,
and German.
yeah, I got your question. Is that all the question you have?
Yeah.
Well, to be very honest, I haven't fully leveraged, and by leverage, I mean that in my roles, I've not fully utilized my foreign language skills. However, what the advantage for me being bilingual, is that I understand that that different cultures. I understand that I have to approach people, from their own perspective. I understand that there are different cultures. People come from different contexts. People come from different cultures. So when I'm creating maybe campaigns, when I'm interacting with people, I always come with that mindset that the world is a global place, right? It will not always end with me. There are other people involved, right? But of course, there are one or two occasions where I've had to translate stuff, maybe for what should I call it? I've had to translate maybe a French word or a phrase or whatnot for colleagues and some of my bosses along the line of my career, right? So those are just some minor ways that I've been able to leverage on my foreign language skills. Another thing is that sometimes it also helps to create relationships. So I remember the previous job I had before now, one of the reasons why I stood out was because the CEO could speak French, and we literally just started to speak some words in French on the interview, and that just kind of, well, maybe that added to the advantage of me being hired, right? So yeah, I'll just say that just in those little ways, I've not had an opportunity where I had to fully unlock my French language skills in my job. No, because all the brands I've worked with so far are English speaking brands, right? But yeah, that's the major ways I've been able to leverage that. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Please, I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
So in a situation whereby you want to do PR in events management and stuff like that, like you said, you gave the example of a concert, and the fact that PR is basically the one that works the entire behind the scenes of the concert. So how do you get into this area of event management for PR?
Okay, so I'll just speak from my own personal experience. Honestly, I didn't intentionally seek out to go into event comms. It just happened because of the role that I currently occupy, right? So because of the industry where I work in the energy industry. And because my company is an energy and engineering service company, it means that we provide services for your big brands, your big IOCs, Shell, Chevron, all of those companies. We have to have some level of presence in industry events, right? So being the comms analyst at my role, I was expected to champion, the planning and the management of our outings at these events. So in my own case, it just came with the job. And to be honest, nobody sat me down to teach me how to do it. I literally had to learn. You know how you throw someone in a big ocean and you have two options. Either you drown and die or you swim to safety. That was literally the case for me. So it came with a job. But what I did do is that I asked a lot of questions and I did a lot of research, because a lot was at stake. My company, so far, I've managed events that are worth close to 200 million. And imagine your company investing that amount of money in events. You cannot mess it up, right? So for me, I had to just leverage on research, leverage on asking questions, leverage on just asking for guidance. So I always accepted people's feedback. I was always just learning, actively learning, really. So I would say that if you want to go into event communications, just do proper research and then look for companies that specifically cater to that niche. But in my own case, it just came with the job and I had to learn on the job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
I think the students have questions.
Sorry?
I don't think the students have further questions, but if there
Okay.
are comments, questions, that will be asked on the Telegram platform that was created.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for the very enlightening section.
Thank you so much, Grace. Really appreciate you. To give the vote of thanks for the students, I'll be calling on Gloria.
Hey, thank you so much, Ma. The speakers, Mrs. Grace and Miss Esther, we thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us and letting us know and to see PR even in the corporate space and the corporate world. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. I also want to say thank you to our very own Professor Kende Oyesomi and the other lecturers in the mass communication department for this opportunity to connect with people even in the corporate space. And now we know that there's a lot of versatility when it comes to PR. So we've gotten an idea and to know, the space to delve into even when we go into the PR world and to also build our portfolio even while we're in school. And a very big thank you to NWiPR for this opportunity to connect with, giants in the industry and even in the corporate space of PR. So thank you so much. God bless you. We look forward to another exciting opportunity to connect with others in the field. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Gloria. It is Nigerian Women in Public Relations. Thank you so much to our speakers, Esther. Thank you so much, Grace. To give the vote of thanks for Nigerian Women in Public Relations, I'll be calling on my colleague, Ayomide.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of us today. It was really, really enlightening. Especially Grace and Esther. Thank you for being our facilitators today. We had an amazing session. I'm sure the students learned more than one thing today, and I'm sure they're excited. They were excited to have learned from you. Thank you so much for teaching everyone. Thank you. To the students, thank you for being a very fantastic audience. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you, Dr. Kende. Thank you, Covenant University, for giving us the opportunity to do this. We're very, very grateful. Would like to continue having this with you, and you can follow us on our social media. All our social media platforms at NG Women in PR. You can check out our websites, to familiarize yourself with what we do at ngwomeninpr.org. Would also share that link with you as well, so you can be up to date with what we do at Nigerian Women in PR. Do have an amazing day today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayomide. Thank you, everyone. Do have a lovely day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye. Have a lovely weekend ahead.
You too. Bye-bye.